Hello, this is Roy Potter again. I was asked actually to discuss some of the particulars of my last video just quickly so that some of the words that I use, you'll have a definition for them. Some questions came up about the difference between Kabbalah and Hechalot, and I just wanted to clarify that the Kabbalah, which means to receive, came about after the fall of the Second Temple, and it was designed to replace the Hechalot, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute, because they had lost the tools by which they could utter the sacred hidden names of God to attain to certain information from the different aspects of God. Kabbalah went into mostly the study of the Hebrew language, its meanings, its different levels of meaning, and today some of the Kabbalah has been popularized. You see Demi Moore and Madonna wearing the red thread around their left wrist, and that's kind of a magical form of Kabbalah. They say it's supposed to be for protection. There's actually another reason for it, but that understanding is fine as well. But the point is that that's what most people associate Kabbalah with. Kabbalah was a system of contemplation and meditation on the letters of the Hebrew alphabet or some other spiritual aspect. And it was not as it didn't have the same ability to get you to the same place that the Hechalot did. Now as I said in the earlier video, there's some disagreement on that, but I think that we can pretty well show that that's the case. So anyway, with that information on Kabbalah, let's go back to Hechalot. Hechalot, of course, means the chambers, and the idea was to use sacred names, to utter the sacred names of God, to again approach certain aspects of God and to get particular answers. Now, the red heifer was another issue that people weren't sure about. Red heifer, of course, is a red cow. That's what it is. Now, they were supposed to take a red heifer that was pure and undefiled, without blemish, and to slaughter it, and then they burn it and take the ashes, and those ashes would be used in various ways, but the normal way was to go to a mikveh, which is, as I explained last time, was like a baptismal font. They would put a certain amount of the ashes there, not very many, to purify the water. It was a ceremonial ritual, of course. I mean, there's probably really not much to actual purifying the water here. It's a ritual that they would go through. If any of you have studied Joseph Campbell's works, you'll understand the importance of ritual and those types of things. But at any rate, then they would get into the water and immerse themselves, and like several Christian religions today, and some tribes and other peoples in the Middle East and in Africa, the idea of immersion is still very, very important. So once they did that, and they would get out, and they would then dress themselves in some sacred garb, some type of a shawl with what they call tzitzit on the end. Those are the little tassels, and each of the tassels, they represented the commandments, and the willingness to follow the commandments. And then they would also apply other things depending upon the period that they were in. And then they would meditate. And when you looked at the last video that I made and saw the people in the meditation chamber, there were 3 of them dressed in the white prayer shawls. One of them wearing tefillin, which was on the left hand and on the forehead, and then bouncing back and forth like this. And at the same time he would do that, he would utter these names and then go into a Merkava vision, get into the chariot of light, and be transported to the particular heaven that they were seeking to enter. So that's basically how that system worked, and some of the information from it. Now, the information on all those mystical systems pretty much came from the Torah and from personal study of the prophets and the mystics. And that's really the important part to know. We don't talk about the sacred names of God, and I just wanted to use some information on the one that's pretty extant today. The Tetragrammaton is what most people know it as, the YHVH, or when you go to Hey, Bah, Hey. We know what the consonants are, but we are not sure. Most people don't know what the actual vowels are that go along with that. So it's a sacred name. So like the others, we don't utter it unless we're making a specific vow. In the earlier days, and even presently amongst the Jews, the name isn't uttered at all. And in ancient times, it was only done by the high priest once a year when you have to pour in the Holy of Holies. Prior to that, I think it was used much more frequently. But again, if you made a vow with any of these sacred names, you knew that you couldn't take those names in vain, in other words, you can make these promises without having an intention to keep them. So that can be very important. So I guess that'll do it for this time. It's amazing how fast time goes when you're trying to explain some things. I will say there were also some questions about my spiritual viewpoints and why I'm going to talk about Christianity. Eventually we'll get there. My idea on what happened in Christian origins is not orthodox, it's not traditional in any way, shape, or form. Do I hope that there was a person or many persons who were able to cross the abyss and to represent us and help those out who want to get there? Yes, I think, but I don't believe by the same token that it's free gratis in any way, shape, or form, or that there's a particular name except God Himself that gets you there. Because we have, if we're here for the experience of the experience, then there's got to be more to that than just, saying a name and being permitted to enter. There has to be something more on our parts. Do we have the ability to tap, like in Hechalot, the greater whole? Yes, that's the idea. Both Kabbalah and Hechalot would go along with that, and a lot of thinking today in that area. And really, at least what I'm concerned with, and I would hope that most good people are concerned about, the most important thing is our relationships, and do those continue. I would hope so. Won't have any proof it does, but I would hope so. And there are those who say, well, we're trying to get back to the Garden of Eden. Well, if we're trying to get back to the Garden of Eden, there was marriage there. There was the possibility of children. And then you take it a little step further and you find out that what was created there was in a similitude of the spiritual realms. So I'm hoping that those things continue on. Some of the most beautiful things of life are those things. And so good things are worthwhile, and hopefully they'll still be there. So that's my feelings on it. I hope everybody has a good day today, good week, however long it will be before we talk again. Thank you very much.